everybody, and welcome to another episode of Asian's Return. Tonight we're playing a story.
Thank you.
For sure.
Yeah, let's see.
We assaulted a child. Well, I assaulted a child.
You did
we had a
assault a
lot
child.
of caution in the
No, we did have a lot of. I'm trying to think of what. There was a lot of personal discussions about, like, specifically the ones I remember. After mentions of slavers in the area, and that the Queen's been cracking down on that. There is discussions of what freedom means to these characters, especially those that have not had it very much beforehand, and of place in the world. There is some talk about Acheron's past as an assassin for the church, and how, after the question was posed why Titania seems to be among rare company and looking for why the church is being hypocrite central, Acheron said that it was because most people that looked into it before got a lot of holes put in them, courtesy of the church, and that Acheron participated in many of these ventures.
You also fooled information out of Silas by giving him whiskey.
Water that tastes like whiskey.
He was very sad. It was like thinking to himself, damn, I've gained some resistance against this. And I also love the moment where Acheron was so cutely dumbfounded when Aaron mentioned to them that they can create their own dreams and their own goals now that they're free. And they're like, what? No, what? That's not possible.
How dare you.
Exactly.
Acheron's very heavily intellectual, if you haven't noticed.
I mean, the subways for sure.
The ways of murder.
I also
That was what...
very much enjoy the line that I have killed many Tias in the past.
It's a good moment.
For sure.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about the purpose of the Sparrow/Falcon program at Aaron's request. It was kind of this idea of using quote-unquote devil magic to essentially commit genocide and remove any sources of or remnants of devils or their power or magic in the world. And then the Falcons was an extension of that by Irene's wish of putting people with these sorts of powers into positions of leadership and authority for her to spread her own influence, presumably.
That's the running theory. That we get a lot of sad backstory again from Acheron.
Yes.
Telling about the aptitude test, but I already showed an aptitude for violence, so they already knew what to put me.
And
how
what that means.
Had to kill my own classmates to get ahead.
I mean, Acheron sounded a lot less sad about it than you're making it seem.
I just like teasing people. Yeah.
We arrived at the farm, and
We did meditation. Don't forget the
meditation
was very important.
Very important.
Hey, Gia, with your mockingly laugh. Like, this was an important moment here. There was breathing involved. There was synchronous.
Yeah, very exciting for the stream.
I mean, the other two sucked at it, but Acheron did pretty well.
I mean, because you know how to do it. Yeah.
But it was then, like, defined after that maybe yoga isn't exactly what Aaron needs, but more that period of meditation as you practice forms in combat. So at least that was established.
Yeah, you're put in a barn where Titania learned something very frustrating.
Yeah, Titania, finally with access to the Identify spell, cast Identify on her own spellbook and learned that she's been being tracked this whole time, and is very upset. To the point that when she notices a child rummaging through their shit, she just can't even bring herself to go do it, and asks Acheron to take care of it.
And I assaulted a child.
Woo!
Woo!
Okay, it wasn't like, jokes aside, it wasn't actually assault. Acheron was very polite.
You
We need to have a discussion about what assault is. You know?
Yeah, that was the polite version.
Polite assault? I don't think it exists.
I didn't break
A
his arm.
little
though.
bit of assault.
Just a
I
little
think
bit.
Sounds like gaslighting to me.
Soft assault.
The kid ended up happy. No one was damaged. I think I did okay.
Only because Aaron took over. Okay.
Kids better talk.
Break his arm.
Oh god.
Like
Yeah.
bones, dude.
He introduced himself as Dennis and asked to make trade with you because apparently yesterday there were a number of individuals that were stuck inside the bar, prisoners as you guys, and he traded some water and bread for some trinkets and a braid that did in his hair. He is able to tell you that they were speaking another language. He showed some Quaker symbols that we're wearing on their clothing, that Tia was able to recognize what it was, and their leader was something called Asun Hassan Hassan. Who knows? And he also
We're gonna go
knows
to dinner.
through his gang that they have camped up at the Rodden's farm. And he tells you how to get there, and then you make this poor boy believe that he will be a priest.
He's got Rion.
Yeah, he's gonna
juice in him.
become a priest.
Ew.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got the special Rion juice. He's chosen.
Yeah, and
He's
he's gotta
rub
go.
himself up against the priestess lady.
Yeah, he's gonna go
He's gonna-
hug
oh my
Minerva.
God.
Activate
Like
the
a-
juice.
Yeah.
Is
Like a
someone
horny
coming
cat.
from the Catholic
Yeah.
Church? No. Please.
Oh gosh, we're talking about children now, people.
Nightmare.
And then you argue for some time about what to do, and then you brilliantly agree to let Acheron slip out of the night through the little dog flap all on her own, against the rules, that you have now started to gain some trust with the agents.
We propose.
Okay.
Nobody's actually made a decision
okay.
yet.
No.
Kinda sounded like a decision last time, but you can't
Yeah.
backtrack,
I
but
thought it was a decision.
yeah.
We left it
I
at the
mean-
point where we were suggesting that we would check with, inform Ginevra first. at
Oh
least
yeah,
for a
right, there
message
was gonna
first.
be a
We're gonna get to the
message,
message.
At least let me
yes.
know what the hell you guys.
There was
are
gonna
doing.
be a
Go ahead.
message, right, okay.
Actually, Acheron said let her know once I leave. That
Oh.
way she can't interfere.
Well, it's not like we
Anyway.
can interfere anyway.
We gotta jump to Ginevra first, and then at an opportune moment I'm gonna say that the message happens. So let's set up the music. Thanks, by the way. What music shall we have? Yes, for sure. Reset the volume a little bit. Up a low and gently sloping hill, past a wooden fence, a well, a barn and a stables, stands a white and black homestead against a line of asp trees. The inhabitants of the stables have gotten many guests tonight, and all animals are happy, eating their dinner. The inhabitants of the barn seems to be up to no good. The main house, however, has light coming from every window. It's a long house, with white clay and diagonal wooden planks painted black with tar. There's a second floor, if you could call it that. It's more of a long and low attic, where a straw bed sits where this Mercia couple sleeps at night. There are others that live here at the Mercia farmstead. A young lady have moved into the main house and helps Mrs. Mercia in the kitchen. A young man sleeps in the stables, earning his meager income by helping Mr. Mercia take care of the animals. But in the finest room of the house, with the wooden walls painted colorfully with flowers and dancing people, and the low cabinet stands along one wall with pointed feet and paneled doors, there stands a long rustic wooden table. On top of this table there has been laid out the freshest and whitest of tablecloths, but it's still rather cream in color. A long iron candelabra with 5 candles sits upon it, and there also stands a rustic, but with the utmost effort, dinner. Offered is fresh baked bread that is half light with nuts and dried fruits within, warm milk to dip it in, or a conservative amount of raspberry jam, if you would prefer such. The main course is an earthy stew, carrots, potatoes, and beef that is cooked for so long that it falls apart from the slightest tension. The bouquet is a nice blend of rosemary and thyme, and then a little kick of mustard seeds. Lastly, a light ale and warm milk is offered as beverages, whilst a certain honoured guest has been pushed to partake in some apple cider the Mercia still had in their storage. Our honoured guest in question, Priestess Ginevra, has been offered the head seat, with Mr. and Mrs. Mercia on both her sides. Then comes Meulen and Osprey, who looks bored out of her mind. And lastly, there is the 14-year-old Danielus Mercia and the 11-year-old Daniela Mercia, all wearing their Sunday best, or Vermitten best, to properly host a member of the club. All in all, it may be a bit rough around the edges, but the atmosphere is warm, yet full of expectation from the Mercias, all directed towards Ginevra. How are you feeling in this moment?
Yeah, very probably overwhelmed. She'll say, Mrs. Messiah, Mr. Messiah, thank you so much for all of this. Really, it wasn't necessary, but I can't tell you how appreciative I am to have such a well-cooked meal. It's been on the road for a while, and truly your graciousness and your offerings are very much appreciated. And I'll kind of sip the cider gratefully and definitely be helping myself to the jam.
Mrs. Mercia frets a little bit in her chair and she goes, "Oh, no, we're just happy that you chose to honor us with your illustrious presence, priestess.
Oh, please. Really,
the cider hasn't gone stale.
No need for
it's
that.
tasty still.
Just treat me as you would any other friend.
Oh, okay. You're too kind." And she tries to remove some dust off her top of her chest. There's a bead of sweat coming down her forehead from having rushed into the kitchen to prepare something.
I love the way that you've decorated here as well. It's beautiful. Did you do this, or?
It's an all farm in my family, you see, the Mercias. It's many a hand of Mercia that have put their colorful ideas on these walls.
So you must know this area very well.
Well, yes, the area around for generations. Not that much have been going on that recently, but we Mercias have stood through many hardships and boards of distant paths. We come from an earnest and beyond believing stock. I will tell you, yes.
I can definitely see your devotion. It's very evident. Though I would say you mentioned that hasn't been much happening of late, but I think I heard something from the Strata. There's been some kind of upstir in the area. Have you heard about that?
Oh, you must not think poorly of us, priestess. And there's like a little bit of a blush coming on this on his cheeks, and he has this tobacco pipe that he hides with and takes a few puffs of smoke with, and the wife instead speaks. We were a little bit threatened, and they were offering us coin. Is there any way that we can seek forgiveness from Rion for our weakness in helping those people? Honestly, the people they were carrying didn't look like good people, but it still didn't feel right.
Your conscience may not always be right, but you're never right to go against it. Of course, there can be forgiveness for this, and I would understand your position in fear. And could you tell me a bit more about them? Maybe there's a way that we can find to make it right.
Well, I tried to invite the leader up for dinner, just like you trying to calm down the situation, priestess. When you got children, you need to play a gracious host. But they prefer to keep to themselves over at the barn. And you know how times are nowadays with... I don't even think that half of our grain we will be able to sell this year. We will have to throw it all away.
How come?
The tray block at the pass.
Oh, I see.
We have too many fields. We have made our trade of selling our surplus every year to those poor Modish people across the mountains, of course, and in return we get... I'm sorry for it being so dark in here. We're quite frankly out of whale oil.
Please, again, you've offered me more than enough. There's no need to apologize at all.
Be most gracious for your understanding of our weakness in this moment, priestess.
It's not weakness to not have money. Especially when it's not of your own doing, it's of the situation.
Both Mr. and Mrs. Messiah looks rather embarrassed into their bowls and starts eating. Mr. Messiah takes another puff of tobacco.
And so I'll kind of look to the wife and say, please go on, as I'm kind of eating, just trying to do it in a relaxed way, but trying to continue on with the topic.
There's not much to say, priestess. They kept to themselves. We weren't allowed close to the barn. And
they offered you money to keep people in the barn?
Yes. To host them here.
How many people?
I couldn't count them. They were pushed into our own house for the remainder of the evening, but so it must have been more than 15.
And they stayed out with them?
They stayed all night, and then they went early in the morning. But I got to tell you, some of them, they didn't dress right, they didn't act right, and they weren't speaking Rion's language.
Some of the people in the barn?
Yes.
What do you mean they didn't dress right and act right?
Not like proper people should. They were very dirty. They didn't give me the proper sign of Rion either when I tried to say hello.
I understand.
I don't know where they must have come from, priestess, but it's not anywhere around here, that's for sure.
Yes, that sounds about right. Would I be able to work out from that maybe where they might have come from?
Not giving the proper sign of Rion and speaking another language, there's only two options, and that's the Beneos or the Creekish. Take your pick.
Yeah. Probably the Creekish. Okay. Did you see where they were headed when they left?
No, they kept us inside of the farmhouse. In here for the whole remainder of the stay. I couldn't even go out and get myself some
Not even
water. The
throw a window?
barbarians. Well, they returned to the road. There's only one way to go. But they did turn towards the east. Yes.
And how many were there that were traveling with the slaves, like as the slavers or the men that were taking those people? Men, women? What was the mix? What did they look like, seem like? How many?
Oh, I was sure to take an extra look to see if me and my good lad here and kind of elbows this 14-year-old Danielius, if we could take them, but I counted as much as, well, I'm not entirely sure, but there were perhaps 10 of them. The rest for war and hooligans, I tell you, they were all hooligans.
It must have been very frightening. You did a good job doing what you did.
I knew that as long as we trusted Rion and held our sunset prayer, that things could work out fine if we just stayed out of their way, and here we are. Yes, Marcias has survived for a long time through these means.
Thank you for the information. Hopefully you'll be able to put it to use to stop such terrible things happening and put these people to judgment.
Further down the table, there's the longest, most irritated sigh that has been ever uttered of the face of Frostmark. Coming from Osprey. Meulen is just sitting there, like, eating politely and watching the conversation with observing eyes. And then a voice comes into your head. Saying,
Yeah.
Whose voice?
Okay. That would be me, because I think does Aaron have a message?
no.
No. Okay.
Aaron's not the kind of person.
So.
Oh no, it's so good. So.
We have discovered some information of interest, which I will lay out in full for you. Like, Titania's eyeing Acheron, like, giving them a wait. Like, a wait, don't move. Don't go out of the dog flap yet. That was in character and out of character, I felt that.
Yes.
And she says, I guess first, this is technically the less urgent piece of information. We have discovered that my spellbook is being tracked, presumably by Irene, and that's likely the reason why, or at least one of the reasons why we're in this predicament. Secondly, we talked with a child of the owners of this farm and heard some information about prisoners coming through this area. I'm making the assumption that they were slavers, or slavers were carrying these prisoners, and these people who were captive were creekish in nature, which I have personally taken an interest in, for reasons that I have explained previously on the road. We were considering sending Acheron to investigate this, though it would be violating our conditions with our captors, and I was just wondering what your input is and I'm still debating if it's a good idea or not.
I'll turn to Mrs. Messiah and say,
You hear
would I be
actually,
able to...
you actually hear her say, and I took offense to that, how they're treating us. There must be more grain houses, I'm sure. And if you're able to speak to them and may propose pleases, we would be very grateful.
I'll be sure to do that. Would I
that's
be able to
brilliant.
use your bathroom?
Yes, of course. We are very sorry, but it's just an outhouse.
That's fine. Honestly, please.
Then
fine.
just out the door and directly to the left.
Okay, thank you. And so I'll head out.
You can
and-
hear, as you leave the room, Mr. Messiah leaning over the table and saying, Stop smoking the tobacco, it's vile, stop it! Yes, you head outside.
Yep. So I head out and go to the outhouse. Are there windows from the dining area?
The dining area actually doesn't have windows. It's like a nestled-in room in the middle of the house, designed to be as warm as possible. Yeah.
Okay. I'll still just go to the outhouse just to be safe. Okay, I'll go to the outhouse, and from there I'll send a message towards the barn, back
Alright.
up here, and say, do not go to the camp. I found out from the owners about the slavers staying here. There are 10 of them with around 15 slaves. Do not send one person. Is way too many to handle alone. I think maybe Miron could be persuaded to investigate this, and we could have more bodies, everyone together. But I think Freakish makes sense from what I've heard. Apparently they headed east. That's all I know. Please stay safe and don't go running off after them.
Okay, Titania will send a message in response and say, yes, if you could persuade...
Wait, are you going to tell us what was said first?
Give me a
I'll
moment.
just say the 10 are dressed for war as well.
Okay. If you
It's not
could...
just 10 dudes, it's like 10 dudes in armor.
Mhm.
Makes a difference.
If you could persuade Miron to let us track this piece of information, that would be lovely, though don't make it a priority if it could potentially put us in danger. And then I will turn to Akron and be like, we're not moving tonight. Geneva has the potential to give us an opportunity later, and I'd rather stay safe at this point.
Just to fleek
trusting
in,
her now?
outside the outhouse that you're in, Unnerva, you hear a little boy voice going, Mom! Mom!
No!
I got the light in my head! And a door swinging open and slamming shut. Sorry, carry on.
What were you saying, Aspen? I didn't hear.
Her says, we're listening to her now?
Akron, I've always put my faith in her. I trust her, you know?
Why exactly have you changed your mind?
What do you mean I've changed my mind?
Well, you seemed fine to let me go tonight, but now we might get an opportunity to talk to them. Maybe. What makes you so sure that's a sure bet when you were ready to let me go just a couple minutes ago?
Trust is fragile, and though my instinct is to run down this information, as quickly and as early as possible. Gotta admit to myself when patience might be a better avenue. I mean, this is... If I wanted to rush things, I would just head back to Mulgrave right now, you know? There wouldn't be... My better judgment says prudence is important, and...
It comes down to one thing, Titania. It comes down to whether or not you think that traveling with these members of the church will allow us to do what we intend to do. And if not, we are a hindrance, and we should take every opportunity we can to further our objectives. So do you think that traveling with these church folk will allow us to do what we need to do?
If I may be completely honest, I don't see a way out of this situation of us under their thumb that doesn't end in violence. And knowing that we're being tracked regardless, I'm legitimately she picks up her spellbook. I'm legitimately considering just throwing this out or burning it at this point, at this junction.
Can't you make a new one?
Theoretically, though I have... Actually, wait. Bexxy, does Titania have any idea how to make this? I don't think so.
I mean, like with the scroll, I said that you're able to figure this out because you have seen this happening during your training. You haven't done it, but you have seen it happening, and you're a very smart young lady. However, you're only able to move over those spells in your spell book that you already know. If you haven't mastered the spell, then I wouldn't allow you to copy like all potential spells in the spell book that we haven't decided who they are from one source to the other.
Yeah. It's a possibility, and I'm certainly thinking about doing it.
But tonight, I mean, it's not like you'd be going.
Okay, Ginevra explained there are 10 armed and armored individuals with 15 captors. Clarifying, that is what you said, Lola? Is that what you...
Yeah.
Right? Okay. That's a risk in and of itself, as much as I trust you to keep yourself safe. Nonetheless, in addition to the risk of the guards inside coming in, finding you not here, and thus our trust is broken, when we could just have Ginevra put in a good word or give us an opportunity alleviating those risks. Seems like the better juncture.
Fine. Aaron, do you want to work on that martial meditation? Since no one's going anywhere tonight.
Aaron looks at Titania with like a stern stare. Eye to eye, because they're more or less seem like. And says, I've never known for you to be scared, Titania. Scared to investigate, scared to find out the information. And all of a sudden, a couple of people from the church show up. We travel with someone from the church, and now you're questioning everything that you ever thought to be the correct decision. So, what's changed?
I remind you that my family is on the line. I don't know what line of breaking this trust is going to result in them being dead. I'm towing that very fine line here. And when we have an opportunity to get this information without having to take that risk to Acheron, to myself, to you, to Ginevra, to my family. Suffice to say, I'm willing to have 12 hours worth of patience. And I'm gonna look into how I can make my own spellbook tonight. I need to think.
Well,
Do you want to join us?
No, thank you.
I do hope that those letters were factual. I do hope your family still lives. I can't know for certain, and I don't think you can either.
Risk of sounding rude. It's okay to be concerned, but eventually you may need to sort, or it may help to. I kind of pause, trying to think through how to word this. It's very clear that they're trying to be very careful in their wording, maybe for once. We were taught, or it's a philosophy that I hold, that there are two types of situations. Those of which you have control, and those of which you don't. And while your concern is understandable, and I don't think there's any straightforward way out of that, it may do well to, perhaps on your own time, think about what has happened and where we're going, and try in your mind to find that which you can control. Making a spell book, something you can control, probably. What's happening with your family, there are parts of that you can control and parts of that you can't. It may sound insensitive, I just worry for your long-term mind state.
Yeah. If you'll excuse me, I'm gonna... Titania kind of tries her best not to look like she's storming off, but she is. And is gonna go find a quiet corner to sit in and starts planning how to make her own spellbook.
Alright.
I don't know if I need to roll or an occult check for that or what, but yeah.
No, the only thing that you require is time and realize that you need a proper book for it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're happy with describing it into a notebook. It feels
No,
a little bit...
No, those notebooks don't have enough space.
I have an idea. Did they give us our stuff back?
You only got your hygiene articles and your clothing. You didn't
So,
get-
because Acheron had a mostly empty journal in their stuff that they planned to use this expedition that they haven't. Was that returned?
Probably not.
No hard items, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a shame. Alright, Acheron won't bring that up then. And then, whenever is good time, has stuff to say to Aaron.
Alright. Before you two go to your martial meditation, how long does Ginevra stay in the outhouse?
Making some grunting noises.
I think maybe a few minutes, in case there's any response that she needs to respond to. But after that, she'll head back in.
Okay. As soon as you enter into the farmstead again, you are glomped by a little kid.
Glomped.
God, I haven't heard that word for so long.
It's a hug and a jump.
Attack hug.
It's an attack hug that is coming at you.
Ah, I see. Can I do my best to try and...
You wanna step aside?
To get the hug? No, I'm not gonna try and step aside. I wanna receive the hug without falling over.
You steady yourself. You do sway a little bit, considering you're not that strong.
Yeah, -1 in brawn as well.
Yeah. But it's a pretty light kid. The kid is perhaps, what, 20 kilos or something like that?
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a wall, and it's a very, very tight hug from this little boy with hazel brown hair that's just going everywhere in this unruly locks. It's very tight of a hug, and then these light brown eyes look up to you and say, "I'm so happy that you're here. I'm going to be a priest just like you."
Wow, hello to you. What's your name, little one? And I'll kind of kneel down, kind of get down to his eye level.
I am the talented and the blessed by Rion, Dennis.
Dennis. Now that is a blessed name.
What?
So
really?
You want to be a priest?
Everybody bullies me for my name. They say it's lame, but you say it's really cool.
It's definitely blessed. The way of the priest is not always the one where, you know, it's the easier. Sometimes it's the hardest path to travel. So bullying is all part of that. Don't let them get you down. Believe in yourself.
He is just shining with happiness at this point, just beaming up to you. Open up a door that now would be very hard to close.
And so I'll kind of bring him along with me to the table, but kind of keep him nearby, and say to Meulen, "Well, Meulen, from hearing this, I'm sure you agree with me that the church must intervene. We must help these faithful people." And I kind of look down at the kid and kind of ruffle his hair a bit. Who knows when they'll have such capable people around to support them, looking at both him and Osprey.
As you walk in, you can hear the rather... It was a little bit of a louder voice coming from Mr. Brisea that said, "I could smoke in my house if I don't sick what, woman?" If you walk in and you say these things, and Meulen sends his neutral gaze towards you, a little bit of a furrow brow, however.
I know you know it's the right thing to do. We can't just leave them.
I agree that something should be done, but can we have a discussion about it in private?
Or not?
Dennis, by your side, kind of rushes out of your grip and goes to like half jump on his mother, retelling a tale in like 200% speed. And then they put the light in my head, and all of these things. Told me not to lie, and that I'm gonna be the master of my gang, and oh, Dennis is a blessed name. It just comes out like a machine gun, and you can see that she is quite used to this. She just turns off her ears, she smiles very benignly, just pats him in on the head, going, Dad, that's just fantastic, Dennis. Meulen stands up, and Osprey does so as well. And Meulen says to the two, "Thank you so much for dinner. Yes. We require our privacy. Know that you will be safe when we are here. If you need us, we will be outside." It's a little bit awkward for him to talk to civilians. It's rather obvious.
Yeah, which is quite fun. So I'll say again, thank you so much. This is the best meal I've had in a long time. thank you again for your hospitality. It's really appreciated. Also, this is like the first time I kind of came to mind. Can you explain to me more about the ceremony process and the partial soul drain process as well, and how that works? Because it's quite lengthy in the thing, and I'm like, I did read about this before, but it was a few months ago.
It's alright. It's alright. You're basically holding a psalm reading that engages a audience member. You direct it towards a specific audience member where they receive kind of blessing, and they're supposed to answer with yes and by Iran's will and like all of these things that they have been taught. And in doing so, they are agreeing to terms that they do not know what it means, and you take part of their soul in payment of the blessing. And after the ceremony is over, you gain a soul fragment.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in terms of like the soul fragment, like sizes, I guess. Is it? And it's okay. It's like just a 10-minute thing, right?
Yeah, it depends upon who you're directing it towards. Let's see how big of a percentage.
Like if I wanted to give a blessing to one of the family or multiple in the family, is it kind of like you can only really do one, or like the kid is too young, or that kind of thing?
Well, everybody in Frostmark, humans are level 1, but their class, so to say, is like common era or a trade or something like that. But everyone is considered level 1 among humanoid races. So
is that like a half soul fragment?
Taking half of their soul in one sitting? That's a lot.
I don't know. I don't know how much you get each time. I think it was like you end up taking a half.
I have it somewhere here.
Because it can go down to a quarter, and I think you obviously get less when you do a partial soul drain.
A fourth of their total, rounded down.
A fourth of the total. Okay, so you get a quarter. Okay.
A quarter, and that is the lowest that exists in soul fragments. So, and everyone is CR1. So yeah, perfect.
And do I have to do like an individual one with each of them, or can I do 2 at the same time, or that kind of thing?
You can hold a longer sound reading and like redo the ritual, but it will exhaust you. So, but it takes 10 minutes for one person.
Yeah. Okay. So would it be better to do 10 minutes for one person, 10 minutes for another person, or is that still going to exhaust me?
It's still going to exhaust you. Casting ritual spells over and over again is going to potentially give you exhaustion levels.
Okay. But that gets taken away when I sleep?
Yes. After a long rest, you recover any exhaustion.
Okay.
So you can do 3 people tonight, have basically a level of exhaustion, and wake up early and fresh tomorrow. Woo!
Okay, yeah. Cool. Sounds good. Okay. Then I will offer to the messiahs before we go outside. If you would be willing, or if you wish, I would be happy to give a blessing to each of you, especially your priest in training here.
Everybody lights up. There's like this deep chuckle from Mr. Mercea and more happy fretting from Mrs. Mercea, and Dennis just continues to beaming and talking about how excited he is in a very bright voice. And it's a happy 30 minutes of ceremony casting.
Well, I wanna offer them that I'm happy to do it.
Yes, and they very much agree.
after talking in case I need to make any rolls. 'Cause I don't wanna
Okay,
be
so you kind of
exhausted
come
before.
back later. I gotcha.
Yeah, so I say like, would you like to do this later? And they'll be like, oh yes, okay. I'll be like, okay, I'll come back in after we've had our conversation, and then I'll do that before bed.
Okay. I understand. So, you, Miran, and Osprey kind of meet out by the well outside by the farmstead. Let's bring up some other tunes. There we go. Yeah.
Hello there.
But that conversation inside of with everything and talking to Mercedes. Actually, we're gonna go back into the barn, and then we're gonna go to the well and the conversation with Ginevra. Okay, so in the barn, what's happening?
Well, after Titania like storms away, especially after she turns her back, Akron kind of throws like a guilty-ish look to the ground, clearly feeling that what they said was probably the wrong thing. Looks at Aaron and just kind of does like a half like shrug and just says, I don't know how to help her. Like quietly, like obviously trying not to let like Titania hear the conversation very much.
At
What
some
are you-
point, Titania has to help herself.
I mean, maybe I don't. You said you had a family. Maybe you can help her more. Maybe you remember it better than I do.
I had a family.
Well, I had a family, but I can't relate to that anymore.
Right. Understood.
Now you're more empathetic than I am. Probably.
Sometimes you just have to let the wounds heal.
Would you like to give the other type of meditation a try? The one I like a lot better, to be honest.
Well, it's not like we have very much else to do here, so...
Can I ask you a question? Do you feel anything when you try to connect with whatever it is? Like an emotion or physically?
I haven't managed to connect with anything. I mean, the breathing was nice, and meditation was at least a start, but I didn't really get anything out of that. I didn't find anything within me. I didn't feel any different.
Well, while I meditated, I thought of a better way to maybe explain this, because I know that I'm not, well, we all know I'm not very good at the talking to people thing, and my words are hard to put together sometimes, but I thought about it, and I think the fundamental thing that's different between our meditations is you're trying to bring something out, whereas when I meditate, I do it to lock something away. If that makes sense. My meditation was designed, and I've honed it to a place where when I meditate, I imagine not a forest glade, but a walled tower. And every time I meditate, it's like I'm building that wall between myself and what I'm about to do. It's a way to remain detached from the things I've done and the things I might be doing. But I think you're trying to do the opposite. So maybe instead of going, using the metaphor from before, going into that forest, maybe it should be about bringing the thing in the forest to you. If that makes any sense. It might not.
I will try. Doesn't sound like a healthy thing to be building infinitely tall tower to hold things in. Eventually, I know in my experience, things tend to break out more than they break in.
Well, it'll be a dark day when that happens. Some of us have walls for good reasons. But, you like to use a sword. Yes, I'm assuming you know your forms without holding something, but given as we don't have any weapons, I'm sure we could find a shovel or something for you to hold on to if you need tactile.
I'm fine without holding one. It's well within my muscle memory to remember how to swing a sword, Acheron.
Well, the important part about this meditation is that when you're doing it with exercise, you see me almost every morning revisiting my own forms, though mine are martial arts and not swordplay. It's not about just going through the motions, but focusing on your body. And Acheron will start very slowly, getting into some of them, almost like Tai Chi speed. Just going into some of the stances and doing a really slow punch would be for me it's about thinking about how my muscles feel as I move and remaining conscious of where my body is in space. I'm letting my memory guide me, but staying in the moment and connecting with my body is the important part of this. I imagine your sword is like an extension of your arm, the same way that when I use a knife, it's an extension of mine. And it's about really honing in on that connectedness. We can do it together. I obviously didn't get a workout this morning, so I was going to practice tonight anyways.
Are you familiar with blades? Do you know how to
No.
use a sword?
I am familiar with many weapons.
But not a sword.
Not the kind that you use. It's a little bit too heavy for me.
I will take your suggestions into how I tend to go through my routine. It's not an unusual thing to practice forms. It's just whenever I've been doing it up until, well, you told me of this sort of feeling side of forms, it's mostly about making your muscles remember so that when the time comes, you don't have to think. You don't have to remember how to attack. You just do.
I think we look at combat a little differently, Aaron. For you, combat is a method of survival. This might sound weird, but for me, combat is a method of connection. When I'm fighting, it's like I finally fit in the world and everything makes sense to me. I don't have to remember my moves. I know them well enough. But for me, fighting is my way of connecting to the world.
I think you should give yourself more credit. You explain things well enough.
Well, I'm glad. I thought very hard about this, and you're someone worth connecting with. Oh, I'm trying.
Aaron fishes in his pocket and just tosses the happy rock back to Acheron.
Acheron just smiles, pockets the rock, and moves next to Aaron, and suggests that they since they do such different forms of fighting, they can always just practice next to each other. But agrees to it's practice time anyway. So
all right, you go off and do some forms together. Meanwhile, Meulen and Osprey is waiting by that center well for you, Ginevra. Osprey is rather frustratingly walking back and forth, and Meulen is just lazily leaning against it with one hip, looking down into the darkness of the well, hearing you come. Looks up with a nod, stands up straight. Is this a requirement?
A requirement?
From what I heard from the lovely couple inside, they seem prepared. There are many of them. And we cannot just simply rescue a bunch of outlanders, I assume Creekish, and have them as our responsibility. I do not have the men for that.
I doubt they would be our responsibility. There's an entire village here, and many Straza who can take over from there. But in terms of actually handling the slavers themselves, I doubt they'll have many people as capable as you two, as those we have with us.
Osprey have expressed their worry over losing certain important resources to them. And Osprey stops there back and forth, do this exaggerated point of yes, of course, and looks to you are you cuckoo?
Are you not desperate for some worthy targets, Osprey? A chance to hone your skills. Who knows how long it'll be before you get that?
But are they even worthy of my magic, huh?
If they're not worthy, then it will be barely a detour.
Meulen. Perhaps we can scout them out a little bit and you can leave a few corpses to me. For study. That could increase my resources for the travel ahead.
Very resourceful thinking.
So now you change your tune, huh?
It also never hurts to have a village in your good graces. I'm sure they'd be very thankful.
There's no strategic advantage to have this chilly village in good graces to me, or LeBlanc.
I would not be so quick to dismiss those on the outskirts. Often they can be the fastest friends.
Putting weapons in the hands of our guests so early feels premature.
I understand. We can scout, and if we feel the need for it in the moment, then we can adapt.
It's a little bit of a detour. I'm able to compromise on this point, priestess. But in the morning, the horses and our people need their rest.
course.
Let's see if they're still there. If they're smart enough, they have moved away.
I'm sure we'd be able to find them either way.
It's gonna be interesting either way, huh?
I think your conscience will tell you well enough that this is the right thing to do.
Yes, it needs to be done. The question is who is the best one to do that task. And I do believe that the Strasser here are more than capable of doing so. The problem is that they will take some time to gather up numbers enough to attack this slaving group. And in that time we are going to be constantly stopped on their way and questioned and searched.
Precisely. We deal with the problem head on. We have a smooth travel through the rest of the place. And Osprey gets more resources and a chance to train.
A effort of trust. An extreme one, very early, but fine. Let's measure the stock of our guests.
Thank you, Meulen.
You better find some rest after your blessings.
I will. And if you should ever desire, I would be happy to share the time with you as well. And you, Osprey. I kind of give her a glance knowing that she's going to say no. It's a bit of a kind of a smirky glance.
There's a priest and priestesses, they're all just and Osprey just goes off rather irritated. Miron has a tiny smile over this interaction.
I give him a wink.
But he says his good nights and farewells.
Yep.
As well.
And I'll head back to do the blessings.
Okay. All right.
Blessings.
Back to
So now do I have 3/4 of a soul?
Yes, after these 30 minutes, you will have 3/4 of a soul.
And do I need to do anything after that to...
I mean, it's ritual casting, so it requires a soul mark. It requires using the soul mark, but it doesn't require a soul mark.
Yeah,
a soul check.
I mean, like, do I need to do anything to the souls to turn them into usable souls for
Oh
spell
yes,
casting?
you can then turn them. You can combine them into bigger holes. Through a ritual.
But I'm gonna need like 4/4 before I can do that.
You need to pay a little bit of soul power to combine it. Wait a second. I'm searching for it. Here we go. Any caster with soul mark can intrinsically transform soul fragments into a potency 1 soul if they want to. By spending 10 minutes in focused concentration, a caster can take at least 1.5 potency and turn it into potency 1, losing half of the potency in the process. So, okay, so you need a little bit more soul fragments before you can do this.
So I need 1.5 to get 1 soul.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Cool.
Yes, but you can
getting 1 soul.
you can use the soul study you got and the soul fragments to casting cantrips.
Yes,
as long as you got 2/4, you can cast a cantrip.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Good to remember.
Thank you very much.
No worries. It's the first time I've actually used those rules. Woo!
I thought maybe it's good to kind of explain it on the stream as well for everyone who's listening.
That's true. Okay. To our dance training.
Aww. I good dance training.
You get dinner.
I mean,
What are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get like nuts and raisins and
dance.
shit.
Yeah.
My dance is staged.
Fresh bread, a goulash.
You'll
All I
never
need is
take
the
the
beat.
dancing from me.
Tasty beats.
Raw beats, crunch.
Oh my god.
Okay.
So.
So what does Aaron do to meditate this time of trying to interact with whatever is there?
So Aaron stands tall in a dark barn next to Acheron and takes several deep, long breaths. And as he has his eyes closed and he tries to remember the words that Acheron explained, that it's not about finding it, but it finding him. He puts his hands up like his arms as if like up in a blade. Fingers touching his elbow, you know, and the other one outstretched. And he begins the dance, I suppose, of martial forms and how he was instructed way back when in terms of how to hold the blade. And he figures that there's no better it's a kata, right? So there's no better movements and forms than that of the basics.
Mm-hmm.
So he begins some slow motion basics with his eyes closed in the dark. And they are purposeful and slow, with half turns, and it's elegant, almost like as if he was dancing. His breath is steady, and he tries to let his mind allow something to come to him as opposed to him searching for it.
Start in the nightstand, swirl over to the horse, into a stab where you open up your palm and just use it to push the pommel into your imaginary foe, and do this very precise but simple forms. Make me a presence check with advantage.
A presence check?
Yes, it's always been a presence check.
Wait, I just want to. No, never mind. I was gonna. Never mind. Titania's too busy. Never mind. I was gonna cast guidance, but no, she's doing her own thing.
You're being angry.
Angie.
Sulky in the corner. Yeah.
Isn't guidance specifically skill checks? If it's an ability check, it works. But I don't know. It might be just skill checks.
Let me read it. I mean, keep doing your thing, but
Yes,
don't worry
yes.
about it.
Presence check.
Yes, advantage.
There was 2 9s last time.
Yeah, that's why I'm laughing.
Yeah, what the hell is this? Just does not like you.
That's the right direction. Like, you're definitely getting better. You know, meditation takes time, guys.
Yeah, exactly. It can't
Yeah,
all come out at once. You gotta,
Yeah, no.
Also,
Yeah.
Bexxy,
Yeah.
you were right. It is
better than average.
specifically.
Skill checks.
Actually, it's ability checks or saving throws. Never mind.
Okay. Then it would have applied.
Good to know later.
I mean, technically, I do have DM's inspiration.
You wanna use it?
Oh.
You can. I will allow it.
Do it.
You do it. Lola, like Genova is the voice of reason, but Lola is the voice of chaos.
You're like
Losing faith in you,
so
Aaron.
hyped about what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, we want to know.
Okay, me too. Okay, yeah, I'll use my inspiration. I haven't used it for like a month.
Believe in you.
Okay, I'll just
Do
mark it
this.
up.
You got this.
It's
Let's
gonna
go.
be 2 8s now.
Scared. I'm so scared. Well, that's good. Oh god.
That's it. Next time someone else is rolling it for you.
Oh shit.
Oh. Anyway, you take the highest, so it's an 11.
You don't got a modifier?
Plus 0 presence.
No.
He's not. No, I can't have 0 presence. He's 6 foot something.
Yeah, but that presence doesn't mean your physical attributes.
No, he doesn't know.
Also, the way
Presence
he
in
holds
the group.
himself is pretty.
No, it's not about how you hold yourself. It's like what presence you bring to like any sort of room. Like, do you walk into
Yeah,
a
the way
room
you
and the
hold
pianist stops playing the piano? You know?
Yes.
Or you just like walk in. So
He
I feel
doesn't
like
know
he's
how
that
to
kind of guy,
use
but yeah.
his physical talents. He doesn't know how to wield
that's
them.
fair.
That's the thing.
I'll take that. Yeah.
There's something rather like awkwardly simple about him, if that makes sense. In a downward arc of one of your forms, just by relaxing into it, you can feel that warmth expand in your chest again, delivering a little bit of a shudder down your spine, because this is such an unusual sensation to you. And as you're closing your eyes and continuing doing these forms, you swear that you can feel leather and steel in your hand, as if your sword was there. But there's something in you that is afraid of all of this, and the sensation, afraid of getting an answer to the question if it could be her. And you shy away from releasing all control and receiving the answer that you're not prepared for. Yes.
His breathing trembles as he begins to feel such a connection. And defiantly wishes to hide such an emotion that his elegant forms turn into more of impatience, and he starts putting more weight behind them, and in an attempt to mask that touch of uncertainty in him, moves into more mechanical movements, as less of a dance and more with physical force, and grunts as if he's chopping many enemies around him, until he frustratingly opens his eyes and just whatever is closest he's gonna want to punch.
Alright, there's a there's a hay ball, or there's just a straight up support beam of the barn.
The beam is gonna
Beam!
get hit.
Where's the beam?
Punches a hay bale.
I mean, one will not punch back, if that makes sense.
Wait, this beam is like a mimic or something?
No,
Punch back?
it's a very hard impact. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, if you do it right, you probably won't break your hand though. So just do it
That's
right.
true, but it still stings. I mean, I guess
That's
how
the point.
many calluses you have though?
I think
he's
pain
well
is
calloused.
the point of it.
He's been out
Calloused.
in the forest. He's like all gruff and manly and...
Okay. You masked the pain, like the toxic masculine person that you are.
Does Akron? I mean, Akron obviously notices that this spiral has happened, right?
Abby is pretty obvious.
Yes, it's pretty
Akron
obvious.
just kind of like pauses in their own workout, kind of watching the tantrum happen. The punching of the beam, which kind of looks at it and is like, try not to collapse the barn, thank you.
Takes a deep breath and, without turning to Acheron, just says, "There's more on my mind than I thought."
That's the
Yeah.
problem with meditation. There always is.
I'm not quite there yet. Maybe I'm tired. Maybe I'm frustrated. Maybe the fact that I was outed as some sort of a crazy angel to some strangers and very powerful people this day weighs heavily on my mind, but you enjoy your forms.
No one's expecting you to be successful the first time, Aaron, except for maybe you. You have to learn to forgive yourself too. Give your own self time.
Takes another breath and, without looking at Acheron once more,
Yep.
he says, "Have a good night, Acheron." And he walks into a dark corner to brood.
Now you're too angry.
Now I'm angry. Yeah.
Will you like have each a corner of the barn this night for you all?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think Akron's
Sulk.
gonna. I mean, Akron's a fine. Akron's gonna be annoying to go to like the guards at the door and be like, "Hey, I have to use the bathroom." Not like cause actually just because they want to get out of the. They're sick of being in a building with with other people.
Mm-hmm.
They want like 3 seconds to be outside, so they're using the "I have to go to the bathroom" excuse to like get some open air.
Outside the barn, Silas and a soldier is leaning against the wall on each side, and there's Silas stands up really fast. Yes. Oh, hey. Totally wasn't sleeping. What do you want?
Bathroom.
All right, this way. Promise not to stand too close and hear your icky sounds.
You're so lucky I'm not allowed to kill you.
I want to see you try. That would be fun.
Careful what you wish for. You never know.
That's what's so fun about it. I'm a gambling man.
Bold words for a bodyguard.
I don't get too much fun, okay? Cut me some slack.
I'm just saying. Why'd they assign you to that? Not cut for anything else?
'Cause I'm not stupid like you are.
I'm stupid.
Yeah.
How so? How so?
Even if it's in the name of the big guy in the sky or whatever. Killing people, man, all the time just kills you. Eventually. Even if you're still standing there and breathing and talking, part of you just dies every time.
Maybe if you're weak. Did you ever consider I'm doing it less for the big guy in the sky and more because I liked it?
Oof, that's cold, but I don't believe you. Now, it's lady time or is it boy time? I don't know. Have you decided?
Oh my god.
No.
Fuck him.
Unlike you, I don't need labels.
time!
Holy shit.
Why, Silas? You got a preference?
I can swing
Got a
either
preference?
way if necessary. Depends upon how desperate I am.
Oh, yes. Because hooking up with me would make you desperate. Between the two of us, we both know who's wanted more. And in more than the legal sense.
I'm not ashamed of it.
That's good for you. I'm glad to hear that.
Thank you. For the first time, you said something nice. It must be a world record.
Akron will just head to the bathroom, spend a couple minutes just sitting around,
Okay.
and then we'll go back out, head back. Kind of taking their time though, like going kind of slow, looking around, like at the sky, and taking a
can't
couple
even.
moments.
Thank God. I can't. I hate everything. I love it.
No.
Hate love it, yes. Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Long rest time, I guess?
Okay, and then eventually you go back to the barn. Geneva, do you sleep underneath the stars? In this warm summer night?
Where are the rest staying? I thought that we were staying in the house, but we're
Well,
just eating now.
Merceas are willing to give up their bed for you, once again.
Oh no. I'm not going to take their bed.
Okay.
They didn't have a split bed.
They do have that kind of kitchen, the kitchen sofa that can turn into a bed, and you can see by like the dying embers in the kitchen there. Or you can take yourself a tent and just sleep in the
Okay,
grass.
so the others are sleeping in tents outside the barn.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I guess I'll.
You can sleep with us.
Yeah. I don't know what they have to say about that, is the thing. I guess I could offer. Have they already gone to sleep? The others, after my ceremonies and everything, they might already be.
Yeah, Dennis were like kind of half sleeping by the dinner table when you came in, but he quickly came, got energy again as you came in. But as soon as the ceremony finished, he was out cold because of reasons.
Yeah.
And
I mean, like the other agents and church people, are they all asleep in their tents already?
there seems to be watches that are being held between them. So.
Okay. They're watching on the outside. They're not actually in the.
Some of them are sleeping, and then some they're like exchanging watches with each other to keep an eye out on things.
Okay. Then I'll offer to stay in the barn. To also just stay there as a permanent one. Also, I probably prefer to stay inside a roof than a tent. It might be a bit more comfortable on the hay.
Okay, so you walk into the barn, where you can faintly see through the lantern light one shadowy figure in one corner and another shadowy figure in the other corner, and then Acro kind of in the middle going, what the fuck?
Geneva is extremely relieved that there is everyone here and they didn't go running off. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Everything else can be dealt with.
I think Akron's surprised to see Ginevra, but doesn't look like upset and actually approaches you, because I did want to have a quick conversation before long rest. Very sorry.
Yeah, go for it. I look pretty tired under the eyes, but I'm trying not to show it in my body or anything. You can just tell that she's had a long day.
Good to see you again. I was wondering when you choose to join, well, the rest of us traders.
You know how it is.
Maybe.
How are you doing? And I guess we walk kind of away from the doorway.
To another farther corner of the barn.
You're in one of the front corners. Titania and Aaron has kind of claimed the two inner ones.
Fair enough. Akron kind of gives like a half shrug and says, I think I'm holding up, like quietly. I think I'm holding up better than the other two. Maybe more used to this than the other two, but... How are you? What? Go ahead.
How poorly are they holding up?
Well, Titania's
I heard about
family-
Titania's book being tracked.
That's the thing. Titania's family's being held hostage and leveraged against her. She's found out that the last several years of her life where she believed she was free have all been a lie. What else? We might be brought back to a place that holds very terrible traumatic memories for the both of us. Not a lot good happening for her right now. All things considered, she's handling it pretty well.
I think she's stronger than she gives herself credit for. Well,
You're
that
not
she
the
seems to
only
believe
one.
she's in.
She's one of the strongest people I know. Trust me.
I do.
Aaron has some qualms with the secret I revealed. Justifiably, I suppose. And dealing with internal issues. So that's something. Pissed at you. Titania still completely trusts you.
Not too much change there then, I guess. Regardless, I think things may be improving. At the very least, they are willing to trust you all more. We're going to investigate the slavers together tomorrow, and potentially you'll get your weapons back. And I know that you weren't too bothered about it, but I'm sure you can appreciate at the very least the sign of trust that is.
I'm not mad at the agents, as I've told the other two. If there's anyone here who understands how the game works, it's me. I mean, this was kind of most of my life. You know, you don't spend 12 years doing this shit and not... Anyways, how are you holding up with everything?
I'm fine. I'm sorry for Titania. What a terrible situation she's in right now. I'm just taking it day by day, but I believe and I have faith that there will be a way that is revealed that will lead to everyone being able to get out of this alive and unhurt, mostly. All I can really have is faith and put in the work behind it. So far, it's heading in the right direction. And
Even
I guess we just have to keep an eye out.
I suppose they probably wouldn't have divulged much about themselves, but I hope you keep it for what it's worth. And Aaron will find a way to forgive you. I'm pretty sure. I mean, for what it's worth, I'm not upset with you. I mean, you told us everything you knew as soon as you knew it, right?
Yeah.
Well, then, that's all we can ask.
Honestly, he can stay angry with me as long as he wants. Just all I really want is you all to be safe and free.
I believe that, as contradictory as those two statements have become, can I ask you an invasive personal question?
Sure. No promises that I'll answer.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, physically? 'Cause you looked sick when we were younger, and it hasn't exactly gotten any better.
Perceptive as always. I was sick. Very sick. For a good portion of my childhood, ever since I can remember, I was very, very ill. And it's left its mark and never really... I mean, I definitely improved, otherwise I wouldn't be here today. But it's left its scars, and it's probably what you can see. I have a weaker constitution than most. It's also partly the reason why I'm always cold.
I remembered that. I just something else we need to look out for.
I try my best to not make it a burden on other people, but I wouldn't change it. It helps me feel and understand the pain that others go through.
Very kind of you. I'll let you get to rest, but in case we don't get to talk again soon, a last word of warning. No matter how friendly they seem, don't trust them.
Understood.
Right?
Sleep well. I think we're
You
gonna
too.
need it.
What's one more fight, right?
I'll trust you on
Acheron.
that.
Acheron will head to bed.
All right. And the night passes uneventfully, and we're gonna go and take a break. Woo!
Okay, cool.
Empty your bladders. Refill your drinks, and look at a horse eating a carrot. Yes, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you. Alright, be right back.
That's very specific.
Yes, but it's what the GM orders, you know. What are you getting now? A horse eating a carrot? I love how their mouth moves when they're eating stuff. The blum. It's just fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Have you seen a horse and its lips eat something? Have you?
Personally?
Mm-hmm.
I used to ride horses.
Mm-hmm. Did you take their lips and shake it?
No, they did sometimes, but I had to stop very quick because I found out I was very allergic to horses.
Oh, okay.
It was fun. I had a good time.
I like what Adrian has left us with. Ah. It's just what I wanted, I guess.
You ready for this?
I don't know. Am I?
I want my poison back. I worked so hard on that.
Well, we definitely shall see.
Please. I worked so hard on that. It's like 6 sessions, Bexxy.
Yeah, well, this is kind of what happens when you're like playing an heretical party that have direct ties to the church with a spell book that has a locate object spell.
But
This is what happens.
I'm so innocent. How could anyone not think that I am perfectly well behaved at all times?
I've killed more people than you can understand, and I enjoy it. But I'm so innocent and kind. And look at this rock with a happy face.
It's called duality.
Yeah, for sure.
I have the range.
Look at my horse. My horse is amazing.
Just because I have to show someone. I think you'd appreciate it. I got mechanical colored pencils the other day. They're so cool. I have all these colors.
Damn girl.
Yeah, they're from Pilot.
Girl. Oh, Cookie, thank you so much for being here. Good night. Thank you for hanging around. I appreciate you. Sweet dreams. Damn. Whew.
The sass of Silas.
Just how Silas is a little bit broken inside. I think it's more like it.
I mean, name one agent that isn't, and he's not special.
That's very true. I mean, he copes in his own way.
By being transphobic. Can't believe him. This is my petition to cancel Silas.
Oh my god.
So if you see a paintbrush, I apologize, I'm doing homework.
So I can torture little children, and that's okay. But one character not understanding complicated social constructs, that it's cancel Becky. See how it is.
Cancelled. Automatically.
What?
We're canceling Silas on Twitter.
Is this better, Bexxy?
No.
Is this louder?
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah. The thing is, your normal voice is more clear, but when you go into the Aaron voice, you can get rather low. Yeah, it's deeper, so you need to be closer with your microphone when you're especially relaxed with that deep voice.
It's the same
Yes,
struggle I
ma'am.
had where I'm still trying to find a good voice that doesn't make me hate myself every time I listen to it.
It's kind of the same thing with Akron. Aspen is louder than what Akron is. It's a little bit of a nightmare.
Not best. Well,
Oh, yeah,
I know
yeah.
I'm trying to like
Nice.
do vocal work to get my like resting voice out of my habit of hiring it, like raising it a little artificially to sound more feminine, now that I don't want to do that. So I'm trying to find a way to like have Acheron's voice be deeper but still keep like the emotional range or lack thereof. Just so that when I listen back I don't sound like a 12-year-old soft girl and want to like die.
I think the trick is activating your diaphragm.
You're
Gotta
gonna make me ruin my notebook. I almost spit my water out just all over my setup. Oh my
you gotta speak with your stomach when you go low, so you still have a commanding aura, you know?
But like, this is how I've like taught myself how to speak. 'Cause I just get bullied for having like a more masculine voice as a child.
What?
This
gotta
is
have
much
a
more like where my voice sits without like when I'm like trying to talk more normal without all the effort I put in to like raise my voice higher. So
Kids be weird, y'all.
I mean, my elementary school was super cruel. In 3rd grade, the only student-made club that was allowed at recess was the I Hate Insert My Legal Name club, which school staff did know about and let continue.
Oh god. Okay.
No, yes. Them bullying me for my voice was like the least of my concerns. It'd be like that sometimes, though. Kids be wildin'.
No, kids can be super duper cruel to things that are considered alien to them, so they can raise themselves up and feel more confident about themselves because they consider themselves to be more mainstream by pushing down somebody else. Yes.
Live, laugh, lie in a grave. Am I right?
I don't know.
What was the one we came up with as the opposite? Hate, harm, harass?
Yeah! That was it!
Yeah.
What? Live, laugh.
We love Epics class
Love.
and the memes it brings us.
Live, laugh, love, hate, harm, harass.
L versus the H's. Yeah.
My favorite one is still Gaslight Gatekeep Garrote Wire. It's like I think that was dude, I remember earlier, like way back in the campaign, we were like talking about like Gatekeep Gaslight Girl Boss as it pertained to the agents, and I'm like, it's not violent enough, so I added Garrote Wire instead of Girl Boss. There's also manipulate. What is it? Is it mansplain, manipulate?
Mansplain, manipulate male wife.
No, what did I replace it with? Because it wasn't murder.
Murder sounds right.
Manslaughter?
That might have been it. That might have been it.
Mansplain, manipulate, manslaughter does fit in very well.
Pick up some ink. This homework is due today.
I think Lola went to the outhouse. Put up her phone and started messaging people.
Girl time or boy time?
Oh my.
What an actual dilemma, though.
I mean,
that question was asked, and I felt it in my soul.
I know. I was like,
Bexxy hitting us where it hurts.
as long as there's no unisex bathrooms, it's definitely a question you need to ask yourself.
Why would there be unisex bathrooms in America? This is a dystopia.
I'm sorry. Not every conversation has to involve your absolute self-pity over that you live in America, okay?
I mean, technically, in a medieval time, like all bathrooms were unisex bathrooms
True.
because there were
Yeah,
no
that's actually a
generals.
fair point, because, like,
True.
chamber pots and shit.
Yeah.
Or you had a bush outside. But
Honestly,
I mean,
Good old
either
bush.
either way, there was no need to divide.
good-
It's just the
good
modern
gives a shit
society that just divided us. Back then, things were so much simpler. It was like one hole for all.
Well,
Frostmark, who gives a shit about gender?
gender.
Silas,
Wow.
clearly.
Silent. I'm sorry, Bexxy. We're gonna roast you for. We're gonna roast Silas.
But it's not me. I don't feel bad. It's not me.
No,
I know,
but
we're gonna
only,
roast Silas.
only cares about gender when it comes to the bathrooms. Not when it comes to like sex. Who gives a fuck? Bathrooms? What's your gender? I gotta know.
Just wanted to
sure
peg
part.
you down. You just wanted to understand.
Yeah, he just wanted to be an asshole. We get it.
There's a joke there.
It was a good joke, honestly. Like.
I mean, if he weren't a creep half the time, he might have had a shot. Unfortunately, I said I needed to use the bathroom, and he was like, I won't stand too close, wink. And I was like, sir.
I do declare.
Oh yeah, and the vipers.
Gives me cat collar vibes. Not gonna lie. Chicago.
He's not exactly a gentleman, if that makes sense.
No.
Suffice to say.
Really? I'm shocked. Can't believe-
Exercise. Fuck. That was the word I forgot. I was gonna say this is gonna be an extreme exercise in trust. And then it just escaped from me and I said effort in trust. Don't look at me like that. Lynn.
No, sorry. I missed. Oh, Aaron, good. I misinterpreted what you said and ended up in a really funny joke.
Oh.
Because I'm
Lynn
hilarious.
is still looking disturbed. Have I done something to you?
What? No, sorry. What?
You were like,
I was literally spacing out.
oh, okay. You looked
We
so
are very
disturbed.
tired today.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I must have
Classes
like
have
woken up.
been a thing.
Oh my god, I don't think I've told you guys about this, but I was telling Aspen about it. Is that like there's been more COVID cases on my campus in the past week than there were all of fall term,
Oh,
and it's
no.
very concerning. So like half my classes have gone to online, and I hope my business class does as well, but it probably isn't because my professor was very adamant about that, and that's not safe. But you know.
The business class.
I hope, Lola, that you had some fruitful messages in the house.
Some toothful?
Always.
Fruitful.
Tootful.
Toot. I hope you had a toot to the test.
God.
Okay. Let's start it up again, shall we, peeps? Let's remove the sounds of the evening and replace it with the morning. With the morning. Did you? Uh-huh. Yes. My campaigns are all about ASMR. The temperature in the morning rises to well beyond 25 degrees, about 80 for Americans, in the brilliance of this morning sun. Thankfully, there's a healthy breeze today, and often no direct sunlight, as the sky is almost completely covered by tall, imposing clouds. The sound of the farm awakes you early. The clatter in the kitchen, the clucking of hens, the mooing of a few cows in the stables, happy to get released for another day of carefree grazing. You can hear Dennis call out to his dad if he can go to Gamble Pond to swim with his friend and tell them all about the light. And his father answering with a reprimanding tone that poorly hides amusement that they need to take care of the animals before they get leisure time. It fills all of your hearts with the simple happiness that can be found in such simple living. Anything you want to do immediately this morning?
Not in particular.
Akron is going to do their usual morning stretching and practice, especially given what we might be doing today.
I wanted to go over to Tanya. If she doesn't seem too angry.
Oh no,
hopefully the sleep will have kind of helped out a bit.
She's feeling a little bit better, but you know, still stressed.
Kind of, yeah. I'll just sit down next to her and just say, "How are you doing?" I know it's a silly question, but
just troubled, to say the least of it. I feel like I don't know why it's hitting such an emotional place. But
why wouldn't it?
Just
family.
No, I mean that too, obviously, but knowing that I was being tracked all this time. Well, I mean, of course I was. It makes perfect sense. But it never even crossed my mind. Now I'm thinking about it, and it's just makes. I need to rethink everything at this point. Like, the entirety of the past. Goodness.
Isn't that what a good historian does, though? A good scientist? They have to do that all the time, don't they? When you learn something new and having to rethink everything you thought you knew.
Definitely.
Doesn't make it easy, but
definitely puts credence on some other theories, but it also makes me even more confused.
How so?
I think Akron had the right of it. I think she wants to know what I'm. She's let me exist for, God, over 5 years now, because she's curious about what I'm gonna do. And now that I've, I guess, become too much of a liability, she's like trying to dig her claws back in. There's no good explanation.
This enchantment, or whatever she's put on this, it doesn't let her know, though, that you know now, right?
It's a divination that is that tells the caster the location of the object that it's been cast on. I don't think she has any way of knowing that I have identified this enchantment. But
that could be advantageous.
It could be advantageous, but I don't know how much it matters in the present sense. Although, actually, I was thinking about this last night. She pulls out a notebook and shows the beginnings of like some designs for some designing and planning for her own spellbook, and is like, if I could, I don't know, drop this, if we could, instead of disposing of it entirely, drop this off on like her current spellbook, drop this off on like a merchant's cart with their wares and just let it travel on its own. That could be a useful deception once I have my own resources.
Exactly. Or something that goes far away, hard to reach, long before they knew you weren't with it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
At least, hopefully, it feels good to know that you know something she doesn't.
I hadn't thought about it that way. That is satisfying.
I'm glad you're feeling a bit better. The plan, it looks like today, is that we'll be checking out what's going on with the slavers, potentially, most likely, intervening. And maybe the others will get their weapons, I'm not sure, but it mainly is an exercise in trust, and so I think it's an important opportunity. And at the same time, a chance to do a lot of good, if we can get them and help these people.
Mm-hmm. I would like, if these people really are Kriegish, I would not mind having the opportunity to speak with them, and maybe they'll be more inclined to speak with us if we save them. Which
do you know their language?
Cool.
I just heard that most of them were not speaking this language.
They weren't speaking Markish?
Apparently not.
I'm afraid I've never had the opportunity to learn Greekish, but I would like to, certainly. I know it wouldn't be hard to learn languages. I've got a good memory for it. It's never really been the focus of my study, unfortunately. As useful as it would be, I've kind of passed over it.
Well, this might be a good opportunity for that as well. But that requires us to find them and free them.
Exactly. Alright, I'm gonna get some breakfast, I guess, and take a moment to think about how I want to go about this whole spellbook business.
At that time, the doors to the barn open. And in marches Meulen, Osprey, Medea, Silas, and 2 soldiers. And Meulen marches in with his hands in a neat kind of soldier approach behind his back, looking all serious and official, that he dresses in when he wants your attention. He lets his eyes sweep over the scenario in the barn, gives a respectful nod to Geneva. I have discussed the matter with our priestess, and we find the risk acceptable of removing this slight upon Rian's land from our view. We do not need the extra attention, and I've confirmed with the boy Dennis that his friends had seen them camp yesterday at a place called Rodden's Farm, and he has told me how to get there. Now, I do not know if they're still there, and if the Messiahs recounted the numbers correctly yesterday at dinner. Apparently, there's about 15 slaves and 10 slavers. Now, whilst I am confident in my team that we would be able to win against simple slavers, I'm not the one to take unnecessary risks. And I thought this could also be an opportunity for us to show our trust in each other. But I will not force you into risking your limb and your life, hopefully it won't come to that, in all-out combat unless you want to.
Will we be armed?
Yes. Your weapons will be returned to you. However, Corey, poison in your hand is a little bit too much for me. I'm sure your fists are enough of a weapon anyway.
Patron just crosses their arms. A little bit childish, perhaps. Looks very disappointed.
I do not know where your sword is, Aaron. But there might be something that we are able to scrounge up for you to use to defend yourself.
Do we get any of our other gear back?
Impress me today, and perhaps.
What exactly are you hoping to see from us here?
That you won't turn your weapons against us. Not that you will succeed, but I'd rather not deal with the headache.
So you're gonna watch us liberate some slaves?
Not watch. Join.
You don't have to take part if you don't want to, Aaron. You can watch if you prefer.
It's not the action of setting people free that I am concerned about. It's performing for others. It makes me feel like a puppet. I don't like feeling like a puppet.
Your choice is your own. I doubt they'll have much time to watch you if they're getting involved as well.
Your skill is not particularly of interest to us, Aaron. As long as we know that you can handle yourself on the battlefield. We're not here to measure your stock. We're here to remove an annoying obstacle in our way. And all I'm doing is asking for your help, if you're willing to give it.
I, for
So
one,
is
am
this
not
like-
going to deny. Oh,
Oh, go ahead.
I, for one, am not going to deny the opportunity to do some good. So if this is the plan, then sure, why not?
So to be clear, this is like, we're killing the guards. Like all of them. For sure.
They are absolute scum, and they deserve to die for what they are doing to other good Rianish people. Even if they are Creekish and haven't bought into the Rian faith, it doesn't matter. I consider them to be subjects in the larger church family.
Anything off the table? Things I'm not allowed to do to them, obviously.
If they are captured by the Strasser, they would be hanged either way to make an example. Better send them off to the devils with a resounding cheer, I say.
So you're not interested in keeping any alive for questioning yourself?
The Strasser would probably prefer such. Depends upon the scenario of the battlefield. It will earn us some favor, but we're just passing through. So whatever is convenient for us.
Your orders are unclear. Is it lethal preferred or non-lethal preferred? I can obviously do
It's
either.
unusual that they would be traveling down this way, So it would be interesting to understand why, and whether that will have any further consequences on our journey. So leaving at least one alive to be able to ascertain that from would be useful, but not if it's going to put your lives in danger. Significantly in danger.
Understood.
Whilst I do not
Understood.
enjoy keeping such people alive for longer than what is necessary, that's indeed true. Kill them if they endanger your life. And if we have gotten past that point, then perhaps we're able to capture 1 or 2 of them for the Strauss's benefit.
Perhaps for our own.
It's just a minor inconvenience, really.
The more information we have, the better.
I can get
As you go
information
forward.
out of them.
I have also other
If we-
orders, priestess, to remain inconspicuous. This is a rather... This is an opposite move from that, but I do believe that releasing these people are worth it.
Inconspicuous, like nailing bodies to trees in the woods. Inconspicuous.
That was part of my
It's fine.
orders, Corey.
Oh, it's not a dig. I was inspired. More confused that you did it while they were dead instead of alive, but we all have our tastes.
I'm not so sure. It was Medea who received them personally.
Of course it was.
Medea
Always been a
looks
softie.
down on her feet.
Always been a softie. Alright. Well, I'm down. Another murder's not gonna bother me.
Good. That you still have it in you. Priestess, thank you for your help.
Always.
Might need you especially so afterwards, depending upon what scrapes and bruises we receive. Now, Aaron, do you feel comfortable yet?
Like you said, we won't really know until we get on the battlefield what we're coming up against. But I take exception to those that inhibit the freedom of others. If that is true, and that's what we see when we get there, I'll participate, naturally.
Miss Candlelix, your powers that has miraculously been bestowed upon you by Rian is not something that should be wielded publicly. Are you up for this task?
Are you telling me to not cast spells?
If we're keeping a few of them alive, then yes.
We don't have to hand them over to the Straza. We can just torture them and kill them ourselves. No one's gonna notice a few more mangled bodies in the woods.
I agree
just
with the
lay out a
priest's statement that it might clear suspicion.
Let me just lay out a couple of things here.
Yes, Miss Candlelix?
A, you said so yourself that if we do interrogate them for information, Jaws are gonna hang them afterwards, or we're gonna kill them. That information isn't gonna get far either way. B, if you want me to be useful or to engage in this exercise of trust whatsoever, I'm gonna need to be allowed to make use of this magic. I can sort of I know how to fire a crossbow, and that's about it.
She
Osprey.
stays at a distance, maybe not clearly visible. I believe that's just the smart way to go about it anyway. They may not understand where it's coming from.
Osprey, what do you think? about this risk. Osprey tips her head to the side, has one hand crossed while the other one like plays out in the air very sassily. They're simple-minded fools. Having one or two criminals that are about to be hanged say there were some kind of two crazy people flinging magic that didn't look like priests. No one's gonna believe them. You don't have to worry, Mira. They're not that smart. Sometimes I guess lightning strikes. Mira nods. I understand. That is acceptable. Then all four of you.
Sure.
Okay.
You're ready?
We should probably hurry if we want to catch them at all.
Agreed. Let's settle up. I will hand out your equipment.
Alright.
Time for a montage.
Excited for this.
Swords being put in hands. Getting onto horses.
Okay. What do you guys want? What do you need from your equipment? No poison for little you.
I don't need anything new.
Does Horsey Boy get his horse?
Yes. You do get to ride horses because you're leaving the wagon behind. Oh, you're leaving the wagon behind.
Celia!
You get to jump on Celia.
I need a dagger.
Okay.
Need a blade. Any blade.
A blade?
Any blade, any blade.
Big blade, little blade, doesn't matter.
I have
So
3
pointing
daggers, so
goes
you
into
can
the
The
have
other.
size
one
matters.
of mine.
It's how you
No.
use it.
I'm proficient with all sizes.
Oh my god. Please no.
I have 3 daggers,
Doesn't matter
so
if they're in the dark.
Aaron
You have yours.
can have one of mine if he
No
wants.
size
I
scares
just
me.
need 2 of my knives, please. Some of us are trying to be productive and you 2 are making dick jokes.
What do you mean? You mentioned dicks.
They're just talking about daggers. What are you talking about?
Yeah, blade.
I need something that like can fit in 2 hands.
In 2 hands, you have heavy. Is that it?
I'm both. I can take anything.
I can do it all. Just give me a blade and I'll show you what I can do.
Oh
Shove it in
god.
my hand. Watch me work.
Oh my god. Please stop. I'm very glad this is not for children Twitch channel.
Talking about swords. Come on.
Okay. So, you can be offered a dagger. You can be offered from one of the soldiers a battle axe. And Osprey is giving you a slightly curious look of how you would handle her rapier. Or their rapier that they have with them. So, that's your options.
Sure. Well, Aaron is proficient in literally every blade. So he has blades, not axes. So, yeah. He can, if there's a great sword or a bastard sword or anything really. A long sword or a bastard sword would be better, but you can still use a rapier if that's the only thing available.
Yes. Osprey.
Doesn't have to use dexterity, does it?
No, it's you may use
Just like
the
whack it
dexterity.
real hard.
I guess. It's more about fighting styles if you're doing like slash or quick stabs, I guess. She looks at you sorely as she gives it over. Like there's a little bit of like, I don't want to give it to you, but I'm still kind of curious. And she, or they say, potential Brion spawn or not. If you tarnish my rapier, you might not just be breathing in the middle of the night. Just you know.
I hold the blade, and
It's a very, very fancy blade. Like it has this swirl of a handguard with some pieces of metal that are just completely circular and goes in this swirly pattern. Others are like bigger sheets, and there seems to be some decorations of like French lilies and stuff like that has been engraved with gold leaf. Yeah. It is sharp, but it might be a little bit over the top when it comes to like the handle and the hilt.
okay.
Knowing that we're going off to probably some battle, Ginevra's plait that usually, you know, the thick kind of wire plait that goes down to her waist, she kind of pulls up and wraps around in this thick kind of bun that she pins to the back of her hair. Kind of ready for business, things out of the way. Let's get going.
Very nice. Alright, and Tia didn't need anything? And
she's ready.
Akaran was happy with one dagger. Okay, alright, and then you all settle up.
2 daggers.
You can
two
get 2
daggers?
daggers. You can have 2 daggers.
Okay. Now I can throw one if need be.
You just don't get any poison.
No poison.
For good reason.
No poison.
No poison!
Can I, very ambitious, can I get all 3 of my daggers back?
Miran looks to you and he says, I will count them when we come back.
I mean, if I throw one and I lose it in someone's chest cavity, I'm not the one getting it back.
I will still make sure that 3 knives are accounted for.
You do that. Knock yourself out, buddy.
You're just blinking
Okay.
in return. Okay. Alright.
Love our relationship.
Oh, yeah, right. It's morning. There we go. That overlay is fantastically versatile.
I have a sunset one if you want.
Ooh. That should be cool. Alright, and you're off on the road with the horses. It's a controlled trot. You don't want to tire out the horses, you know, just in case. But you still want to get there rather quickly. And there's a little bit of adrenaline, you know, going up in the body anyway, so you want to get it over with. And
I get it. My shield, right? That's my gear.
yes, the shield. Rapier and a shield. That's an interesting combination in my head. Very unusual. You're going through this very much smaller road. Some are not big enough for a wagon. There seems to be a few shortcuts that the children, you know, use on their way up to Rodden's farm. And you do pass a rather nice lake that most of it is rather swampy around it, but there is one section of it is more like cliffs and stuff like that, and you can see like the outline of some kind of swing that has been created, and there seems to be some smaller like wet areas for perhaps frogs. So this is probably a young child's paradise in these times, but you quickly ignore that and continue on your journey. There's a lot of leaf trees here of different colors, and you ride past small, quaint houses, farms of different sizes, until you come upon a longer road that goes in this forest area, and a little sign that points a little bit upwards towards a hill that doesn't have has less trees on top of it, that it says Ronald's farm on. And here Miran like holds up a hand for all of you to stop, and he jumps down from his horse and leads it into the forest and secures it out of view.
come back?
Yes, but he wants everybody to
Yeah, I
do
was gonna say,
that.
is he
I'll
asking us to
begin.
do the same?
Yes.
I'll begin following his lead.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. He kind of gathers everybody in a circle, and he says, "We're going to let our more stealthy members approach first and regard the situation, so we know what we're getting into. Acheron, if you want to, you may be a part of that group, but we will not be far behind in case something would go wrong. You will return, tell us what you see, and we shall consider engaging or not. Fair? Okay.
Yep.
Did you say the area where the farm was the area that had a lack of trees?
They're less on top of that gentle slope up there on this hill.
Okay.
It seems to be thinning out towards the top. Okay. It's a rather large area though. Like, it's not a small hill, it's like a larger structure. So I think that would be Acheron and Silas actually, if Miran decides to wait. This is not really Nidea's forte.
Alright. You want a stealth check, I'm guessing?
Yes, please.
Titania's gonna cast guidance on Acheron, give a little pat on the shoulder, and says, "You got this."
And is that Dex or Cunning? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say you get to add. It's like bless. You just add a 1d4.
Yes, but this is a good question. If it's Dex or Cunning, I think with it being sunshine everywhere and a little bit less cover, this is going to be more cunning rather than dexterity, because it's not really that much based upon sound. It's more about how you position yourself.
Alright. I'm gonna do this and then I'll roll the 1d4 to add.
Ooh. Ooh.
The 16 together.
16.
Would have been better if it were dexterity.
16 isn't bad.
No.
Especially...
No.
Silas gonna straight up roll like a thunder.
No,
That's what I was built for.
Silas gained a 24.
Whoa, I didn't realize Silas was stealthy. Oh my god.
I know, he's usually so loud.
He's quiet for a big man.
I would have thought it was
He's
the
not
obnoxious
really
energy that would have gotten in the
that
way.
big though. He is he's definitely tall, but
Just
he's
big man energy, but he's actually a little guy.
He's more athletic than burly, right? It's not that wide.
Gotcha.
He got refined muscles, but they're not like burly, if that makes sense. Okay. Huh?
Not like Aaron.
Not like Aaron. Not like Aaron. That's for sure. Aaron is definitely the most muscular person here. Yeah. Everyone else is rather dexterity based. Anyway.
Slender lady.
I mean, yeah.
Literally.
Oh,
God. Her and Titania both have negative brawn, so.
Okay. You're able to approach, go up this hill, rather quietly so, Acheron. I'm gonna put you out on the battlefield and give you vision, together with Silas. Bam!
Bam!
Oh, information.
You're kind of keeping to the road for first because you don't know how far it is, and you don't want to get lost by going off in a random direction in the woods. But at this point, when you actually start hearing the sound of humans and animals in the distance, Silas mentions for you to leave the road behind and enter into this. This is a cluster of trees that is beside the road, and he dives in behind one of these tree trunks.
Oh, yeah. Well, me too. And I guess we're just going around, right?
Well, for
Sneaking
now,
kind of this way.
yeah. And he's gonna go the other way. He's kind of giving you signals of like, you go that way, I go this way. You know, using ancient speak, I guess. And for now, they seem rather occupied. Make me a perception intelligence, would you please?
I can't touch to give guidance.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
Sad.
Really should have taught Tia how to use a bow on our journey. Completely forgot.
She knows how to use well, she knows how to use crossbows, and she has
Roll
one.
20.
To
Excuse me.
help her with using the bow. At least.
Well, it's still enough.
It's just, she only has +2 dexterity, so it's like a +4 to hit.
But you might not
That's
hear
not bad.
all of it. But you're basically seeing here, Acheron, is 3 wagons, not as sturdily built as perhaps the one you're traveling in, but they're larger prison wagons. There are several rather rough-looking individuals with some kind of leather armor to perhaps highest mail pieces that is kind of in a patchwork of protection. They do seem rather armed though. Make me also an empathy composure, please.
Check.
One second.
No worries. 10. Okay. They seem rather vigilant, walking around. They're not standing still or sleeping on their post. They are circling. And in the middle of it all are 4 individuals who have kind of gathered in a half circle in front of the 4th. And you're hearing only bits and pieces of a conversation. And after watching for 2 minutes or so, they seem rather occupied what they're doing. You could hear a rather high-strung argument about where to go next. And words about money, payment, pass, Strasse. And they seem rather... they're loud and anxious in their tones. Okay?
Do I get a count of this several?
Well, you, do you want me to count for you? What you see?
I mean, I see 8 right now, I think.
Yeah.
Even numbers.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is what you're able to see.
Okay.
All right. And should also give you vision. And then lastly, after watching for a few minutes, you can see out of your eye where you left up Silas that he's starting to move back towards the road. So we're going to make another stealth check. Again with cunning, staying out of view. A 19 from Silas.
Fuck's sake, roll 20. What's up with roll 20 today?
Dice gods give.
It's starting to get angry at how much we neglect it with our constant chatter.
The dice gods give bullshit is what they do.
Oh, also,
There,
I just want to say I want Titania to cast mage armor.
Okay,
at
yes.
this point, by the way,
Yes,
so I'm
that's
gonna
fair.
just-
Akron, your blood runs cold with ice as you're hearing one of them shout out, "There's something moving in the bush over there!"
Oh no. Oh no.
And with that,
No, no, no.
we're going to end. Tonight's episode of Asia's Return. Woo!
Yo!
Must be a squirrel.